Hey guys, my name is Kaylin O'Donnell, and today I will be teaching you how to sew a button onto your shirt as part of the Fix Your Shit workshop. So first, you're going to take your needle and you're going to want to put some thread through it, and this is probably the shortest you want to go. You'll have leftover thread, but it's better to have leftover than not enough. So you can take this thread, make sure that it is separated on both sides. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna tie a knot at the bottom. I'm using thicker thread, so I'm only gonna do one knot, but I really recommend using two if you're using regular string. So then you see this little tail hanging off, you're gonna want to cut it off so that when you're sewing your button on later, it doesn't get tangled up with it. So yeah, so this is what your needle and thread should look like. And now for the fun part, now for sewing on the button. Okay, so as you can see, I have my button right here, and I am going to place it where I want to sew it. So what you're gonna do next is you are going to thread it, you're gonna put it through the bottom, and then you're just gonna poke it through a hole. And then once it's through, then you'll pull it. So it's gonna be loose at first, so what you're gonna do is go diagonal to another hole. Then you'll pull that through. And voila, you just did your first stitch. So then you'll go to the hole that's across from that one, not diagonal, but across from it, or next to it. And then you'll pull through, and then you'll go diagonal from that one and pull through. You tighten it, and there you go. Your button is sewed on. So to finish it off, you flip it over. You get a little bit of your fabric in it, in your needle. You push it through. So then what I do is I loop around 2 to 3 times, and then you pull it tight. That creates a nice knot, and that's like how you tie off. And then you'll just take your scissors and you'll snip, and there you go. Your button is sewed back onto your shirt. And usually, since I have a thicker thread, it's a little different, but usually I will go over it a couple times to make sure it's really in place. So that's usually what I recommend if you're using regular thread. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
So one way to keep yourself from having to buy new and even stop yourself from having to fix anything in the future is by keeping your gear in good shape at the moment. Small steps to preserve the quality of your things often include some maintenance, but the little things usually add up to where you can have great items even years later. And usually they're at a pretty cheap price too. An example would be keeping your boots in good shape. Here we have my personal pair of Blundstones. I love these shoes because I can wear them for travel, snow, and even work. I'm sure many of us have our own pair, or even seen pretty much every single person at DU starting around in their own pair as well. By the end of the month, these boots have seen some stuff, and so what I do to keep them in good shape, and also what my dad has done for years, is to take a dollop of some leather cream, Neat's Foot oil blend, usually around $6 to $10, and you just rub it into your boots. You can use a cloth or a brush to spread the goods, but we just use our hands. After you have rubbed it into the leather, let it air dry, and your boots will be in good shape. Another tip is to help keep your sink, garbage disposal, or even your shower drain unclogged and clean. Using this simple and clean home remedy of baking soda and vinegar helps keep your drains clean, free of smell, and unclogged. Simply add 1/2 cup of baking soda, packing it in, and then a 1/2 cup of vinegar. If you have a plug, go ahead and seal it and wait for an hour. After an hour, unplug the drain and pour your boiling water to flush it out. You should be left with a clean and unclogged drain, saving you from potential buildup or even damage. Another tip to prevent your items from losing value is finding ways to restore them. Here's an old locket of mine that I haven't worn much due to the dull and dark tinge that has coated the surface, an issue with many silver products. Using the simple recipe of hot water, baking soda, salt, and aluminum foil helps remove this dark coating, bringing back the item you originally loved and bought. Simply put down some aluminum foil at the bottom of a bowl, pouring in hot boiling water, dropping your silver piece. If there's more than one, don't let them touch, and then add 2 tablespoons of salt and baking soda. Then wait 3 to 10 minutes depending on how tarnished your item is. After your set amount of time, take your jewelry out and dry. You can tell the difference in areas where the necklace has full contact with the foil and in some areas that weren't clean due to being overlapped. If this happens, then simply drop your item back into the solution or make a new batch to start fresh. But compared to before, you could tell the difference in the color of the necklace just after 5 minutes.
Hey guys, my name is Kaylin O'Donnell, and today I'll be teaching you how to sew elastic into your pants as part of the Fix Your Shit workshops. So for today, we're gonna need several things. You will need some shorts or pants, whatever you need to be made a little bit smaller, because I noticed that I always thrift my clothes, so when that happens I usually get things that are oversized, and so I need to downsize them a little bit so that they fit me better. So today I have some shorts, and then you're gonna need elastic and a seam ripper, thread that most likely matches the color of your jeans or shorts or whatever, and then needle and thread. Okay, so I've already put the thread through my needle, and I gave myself a sizable amount of thread, as you can see, because I will be doing 3 cuts into my jeans, and I triple knotted the bottom of it so that it won't pull through the pants. Also, a quick disclaimer, I measured out ahead of time how much I wanted to be gone, so I wanted about this much to be taken in, so yeah, I recommend doing that. Okay, so to start, I said I wanted about this much to be taken in, so for the back one I'm probably only going to cut here and here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your seam ripper and you are just going to cut into the first layer. So you can see that there's 2 layers dividing it, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut into the first one. You're just going to cut up. Don't cut all the way through, otherwise you'll have a giant hole. So there's my first hole. I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So that the elastic can fit through it. And then I'm going to repeat that on this side. So there you go. Now you have 2 holes. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your elastic and you are going to thread it through your holes. And this might take a little bit of time because threading it through jean is not the easiest thing. Okay, so I finally got it all the way through, and the next step you want is to take your needle and probably give yourself a little bit of room from where your slit is. And what you want to do is just start sewing on the inside. And then you'll just make sure that like you aren't getting too, like leaving too much thread on the outside. And you want to make small stitches just inside and out. Like so, making like a line. So once you've finished your first like line down, then what I like to do is just go back up following the same line, just to like make sure that the stitches are strong and that they are not going to break or come undone. And so as you can see, there's a line right there, right there. And then I'm gonna go down one more time just to be sure. It's also good to note that if you want, like, it's better to have your stitches be large on the inside than large on the outside, because if they're on the outside, they're more visible. So okay, so then you're just gonna poke it through for the final time. And then what I do is I tie it off by getting a little bit of the elastic and a little bit of the jean, and I poke it through like so. And then what I'll do is I'll tie 3. I'll go around 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll pull it tight. And there you go, you've tied off. So now what you want to do is just cut the extra off. And there you go. Now it's sewed in. And you can see how it's pulling. So for the next part, I pull it tighter. So you want to, like, it's gonna bunch up, and that's what you want to make it so that it tightens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pin, or it can be an extra needle, or whatever works. I am just gonna poke it through so that it holds my elastic in place. As you can see, my jean material is very thick, so. Okay. So now I'm going to repeat the process that I just did. Make sure that you tie your knots. I recommend 2 to 3, or whatever you think works, so that it doesn't just go through the material. There we go. 3 knots. And now I'm going to cut the tail off. Okay, there we go. And then you'll just repeat the process on this side. So you can use a needle, like I said, or a pin, or if you have a safety pin, that works too. So as you can see, I've tightened it so that it bunches up. And then you're just gonna do your line again, just like you did on the other side. also, I forgot, you're going to want to cut your elastic, and I really recommend making sure that you leave just a little bit of room so that you know where it is in case you ever need to change it, and you can rip it off like with the seam ripper. But yeah, that's what it'll look like. Okay, so I finished putting the elastic in all the sides of my pants. So there's the back side, and then here's another side, and then here's the final side. So I put elastic in all the sides of the pants, and yeah, now they're finished. Okay, here's the finished product. I hope that yours turned out as well as mine did, and thanks for watching. So yeah.